can offer. I know that He's more enough. He is enough. The end of all my wanting, I know He is enough. More, He is more than all this world can offer. I know that He is more enough. He is enough. The end of all my wanting, I know He is enough. I fix my eyes on Christ. I fix my eyes on Christ. The other things I trust in never catch me when I fall. All those fleeting pleasures are no pleasure at all. I fix my eyes on Christ. Turn my eyes from worthless things and set my gaze on Jesus, my King. I cast my idols to the ground, they never helped me anyway. I've been working so hard instead of resting in your grace. I fix my eyes on Christ. I fix my eyes on Christ. The other things I trust in, they never catch me when I fall. All those fleeting pleasures are no pleasure at all. I fix my eyes on Christ. Oh, my sin nailed to the cross. All earthly gain I count now as loss, and there's no treasure in this world, nothing's here will ever last, but all the promises of God, everyone will come to pass. I fix my eyes on Christ. I fix my eyes on Christ. The other things I trust in, they never catch me when I fall. All those fleeting pleasures are no pleasure at all. I fix my eyes on Christ. All this world can offer, I know that He's more enough. He is enough. The end of all my wanting, I know He is enough. More, He is more than all this world can offer. I know that He is more enough. He is enough. The end of all my wanting, I know He is enough. I fix my eyes Christ. I fix my eyes on Christ. The other things I trust in never catch me when I fall. All those fleeting pleasures are no pleasure at all. I fix my eyes on Christ. Turn my eyes from worthless things and set my gaze on Jesus, my King. I cast my idols to the ground, they never help me anyway. I've been working so hard instead of resting in your grace. I fix my eyes on Christ. I fix my eyes on Christ. The other things I trust in, they never catch me when I fall. All those fleeting pleasures are no pleasure at all. I fix my eyes on Christ. Oh, my sin nailed to the cross. All earthly gain I count now as loss, and there's no treasure in this world, nothing's here will ever last, but all the promises of God, everyone will come to pass. I fix my eyes on Christ. I fix my eyes on Christ. The other things I trust in, they never catch me when I fall. All those fleeting pleasures are no pleasure at all. I fix my eyes on Christ. All this world can offer, I know that He's more enough. He is enough. The end of all my wanting, I know He is enough. More, He is more than all this world can offer. I know that He is more enough. He is enough. The end of all my wanting, I know He is enough. I fix my eyes on Christ. I fix my eyes on Christ. The other things I trust in never catch me when I fall. All those fleeting pleasures are no pleasure at all. I fix my eyes on Christ. Turn my eyes from worthless things and set my gaze on Jesus, my King. I cast my idols to the ground, they never helped me anyway. I've been working so hard instead of resting in your grace. I fix my eyes on Christ. I fix my eyes on Christ. The other things I trust in.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Let me know if y'all can see me okay. Everything look okay on your end if you're in the chat? Can you hear me okay? Everything going all right? Okay. All right, very cool. Do you guys don't this is my first time messing with the whole loading screen thing, so you don't please tell me you don't still hear music in the background. I I was just trying to do something cool, and in the process I messed up the link for the first stream that I had on there. And yeah, so hopefully everything is working good. um, that's just what I get for trying to be fancy and trying to do things all fancy, like the professional YouTubers, of which I am not. So no music, Joy says. Very cool. Glad to hear that. Everything seems to be working okay then. Awesome. Well, cool. I'm glad you guys are joining me for this live stream recap. I'm going to talk about the SBC. This is the first time I ever attended the big national SBC convention, and I have some thoughts, and I just want to kind of recap what happened there. If you're not SBC and you're not interested in this, I understand. We'll still talk about some other things and just kind of hang out. But I am a Southern Baptist. I'm a member of the Southern Baptist Convention, or my church is in friendly cooperation with the Southern Baptist Convention. And so I went to the big meeting this year, and I have some thoughts. And I just wanted to kind of unpack those here with you. And get some feedback from any of you guys if you're interested in this topic at all, or if you've ever been to a Southern Baptist convention before or anything like that. So let me start by saying a couple things about the SBC in general. I grew up in an SBC church. As far as I can remember, I've been a part of an SBC church. And I understand that the SBC, the Southern Baptist Convention, is a very big tent. There's a lot of diversity in it, but there is also a fair amount of unity in it as well. So I want to say a few things about my experience at the convention. And I just want to say this ahead of time. a lot of times what happens, and I think it's probably going to happen, some people are going to, that I know might see this and think a certain way. But essentially, there's typically two things people will say about a person in the SBC, and that's one, if they praise it, they get called a company man, like you're just a company man to the core. Or two, you're a divisive person if you don't agree with the big picture, or if something is that the convention, is. And here's the thing, I'm not denying that those categories exist, that there are certainly guys in there that are company men. Southern Baptists tend to trust their leaders. Pardon me. And I know for sure there are some guys in the SBC who are just very divisive and uncooperative on anything. So understand, I understand those categories exist, but I feel like depending on who's watching this or what they may think about my interpretations of it, I'm sure there will be people out there who would call me a company man, and people out there who would call me a divisive detractor and all of that, because there's a lot of questions that are always floating around, and some people, just like, you need to leave the SBC and things like that. And here's the thing. I have so much to be thankful for from connections to people in the Southern Baptist Convention. I mean, so much. If you don't know how the SBC typically works, usually there's a smaller local association, a state convention, and then the big national convention. And our church currently is not affiliated with a local association. There is one that I've attended a couple of things, or I really only attended one thing for, and really sweet brothers that I met there. But we are not yet a part of that local association, and it's not local to us. It's actually kind of in a different area, not in our counties particularly. So my state convention, and in Texas we're a little different. We have two state conventions, the BGCT, or what's now just called Texas Baptists, and the SBTC, or the Southern Baptist Texas Convention. I am repping my SBTC hat to show you which one I most align with. I have a lot of criticisms towards the BGCT State Convention, or what is just called Texas Baptist. And that's another thing I just wanted to say. I know just because of the SBTC, so many wonderful people that I have connected with over the years through the state convention. I mean, just solid brothers, as far as, other pastors and sisters too, solid women ministries and things like that in the convention. But I'm speaking as a pastor, so connecting with these solid brothers over the years, and just I feel nothing but love for the Southern Baptist of Texas Convention that I'm a part of. Just wonderful, wonderful brothers that I know and love, and I love our state convention. With that being said, let's get to the annual meeting itself. Really, this year there were three sort of big things that were brought forth to the table for votes that happened. And one of them was the abolishment of what is called the ERLC, or the Ethics and Religious Liberty Commission. And I've had to do a lot of research about this because honestly, I just wasn't informed enough about it to know the details. But essentially, the problem, it was brought up as a vote to abolish it, and the problem and the reason they did that was because the leadership of it has shown itself to be inconsistent with a lot of things that Southern Baptists actually hold dear. Their job is supposed to be representing us as Southern Baptists in the public square in D.C. with politicians and things like that. And I won't go into all the details about it. You can find a ton of stuff about this online, but essentially, the leadership has gone a direction that many SBC folks were unhappy with. And so that was brought to a vote. The second thing that was brought up that was a really big deal, and I think technically this was brought up first, was brought up by Juan Sanchez, who is a pastor in Austin, in Texas here. But it's really something that's been brought up year after year after year for a while, and that is the constitutional amendment of the SBC to affirm that the office of pastor is reserved only for qualified men. So typically the SBC has been known as a complementarian entity, and that means that we understand that the Bible teaches that only qualified men are to be pastors or elders. Now, if you're out there and you're watching this and you're from a different denomination, or that's just not, your thing, like, I get it. I'm not trying to argue with you about that in this video. But that is my conviction. That is how I feel. And is what I see the Bible to be clearly teaching. And essentially, it's already in our Statement of Faith, the Baptist Faith and Message 2000. And it's just been brought up to be put in the Constitution because the Credentials Committee hasn't been great about actually vetting the process. These are things that I'm kind of walked into. And then the last thing that was voted on was a call for more financial transparency among the SBTC, or not the SBTC, sorry, the SBC, the big organization. And essentially calling for like a 990 level of financial transparency, so that some of the higher ups' salaries are, made available and things like that. And all three of these motions failed at the SBC. So they said no to abolishing the ERLC, even though there were a lot of people that voted in favor of it, like 40+% of people voted in favor of it. They said no to the law amendment, or the Sanchez amendment, or whatever it's called now. But it only failed barely. It had well over 60% of the votes. And part of the reason that it failed is because it requires a super majority, or a 2/3 vote. But it showed that the actual majority of people just felt comfortable with moving ahead. And then the last one, the move for financial transparency, they didn't, if I remember correctly, they took where we just held up our ballots, but they didn't take a actual ballot vote for that one, and it failed as well, which is unfortunate. So I will go on the record, just to lay my cards on the table, because I'm not trying to hide. I voted for all three of these motions to pass, and they did not pass. That's where I stood on the matter. And because of that, and just seeing it not pass, some of these things that I think are very important, I felt a bit discouraged after the meeting. And when I expressed that I felt discouraged, I think, and this is where I think the more your detractor side of it would come in, is that as I felt a bit discouraged, and I just vocalized that, and there's a lot of people out there that are like, why? Why would you feel discouraged, or what's wrong, or what's the deal? And that's where I'm like, if being a company man means that you're always like positive about it, and you just, then I'm not that. Okay. Any sort of criticism about what's going on, if it's just shot down and all that, I'm not in favor of that. But at the same time, where I think people would be maybe more of accusing me of being a company man, is because I don't feel the need to leave the SBC. I want to lead our church to get more involved so our voice can be more heard. I don't feel the need to leave it at this time. Not really even close, honestly. So there's some who, and I'm going to say this, the big deal with the SBC is the cooperative program. This is whole deal about how churches give money to this one program, and it essentially goes to all these different parts of all these different entities, and it supports missions work, but it also goes to paying salaries, it goes to legal fees, it goes to a lot of things, and we cooperate together. And there are some people who would say, just don't give to the cooperative program. And I understand that to some degree, because they're thinking, well, I don't know where my money's going. And that's a fair criticism, where our church's monies are going. If they're not going to fund missionaries, I can see how, or at least we know they are going there. But if there's some of it going to places like the ERLC, like salaries for the higher-ups that we don't know what those numbers are, then there's questions and criticism. And I get that. But let me speak to the positive of the cooperative program, in that I have so many friends and people in my life who I know who have been missionaries for the gospel's sake and church planters for the gospel's sake, who have been supported by the cooperative program. And they're real people with faces that I know and see and love. And you're looking at one. Here's what I mean by that. Before I ended up where I'm at now at First Baptist Dawson, I was planning on and prayed through, and Erica and I, my wife, we were hopeful to be able to plant a church in South Fort Worth. And I went through the North American Mission Board church planting assessment. And it was rigorous assessment, which I think it should be. It was good. Made a lot of friends along the way in that assessment. And even though we didn't end up planting a church, the plan was I was doing a residency at another church before I came here. And that residency was in part funded by cooperative program dollars. Now, there were two other sources that helped fund it as well. But I've been a beneficiary of doing the work of ministry in a church where I received help from the Southern Baptist Convention to help keep my family afloat. I will forever be grateful for that. And I'm so thankful for that. And like I said, had we gone on to plant a church, we would have had even more of that come in. Things changed. That's a long story I won't get into right now. But I praise the Lord that I am where I am. So I'm not anti-cooperative program. At the same time, I do want to see more transparency, and I do want to see the ERLC thing about abolishing it. It wouldn't have actually gone away this year. It would have had to be 2 years in a row to completely abolish it. And the gentleman who raised the motion to abolish it even said he wasn't actually trying to abolish it, but to save it so that they would get their stuff together and change things. So the SBC meeting afterwards, if I'm being honest, the way I felt after the meeting, I had mixed feelings about how things went. And I feel like by some people within the SBC, the expectation was, well, we all need to just feel encouraged and just, everything's fine. And really, I guess that's true in some sense because nothing changed, but I don't think that means everything's fine. And then you have some people who are like, man, we need to be straight outraged and, and I don't feel that way either. I feel kind of blah. There are things that I was very much encouraged by, and there are things that I'm discouraged by. Sorry for the honesty, I guess, if that bothers you. But I will say this, some of the most encouraging things about the SBC, one, I got to take my wife with me, and we got to be together and hang out and enjoy each other's company while my parents watched our children, and I'm super thankful for that. We needed that time together. It was wonderful. I'm thankful for connecting with some of my friends and getting to just hang out with them at the convention, and people that I hadn't seen in a while to get to talk to at the convention and hear their thoughts and their perspectives. I was so thankful for that, and to be connected and to be assured again that there are people out there who are wonderful gospel preaching people in the SBC. I'm thankful that I got to meet people I've never met before. I got to meet Philip Nation of Thomas Nelson Publishers, and man, that guy is just so wonderful. He was so sweet to me and to my wife, and encouraging, and just I'm so thankful for that there's a brother like that in Bible publishing. How cool. It was amazing. I got to meet Brother Tom Hicks, who's, if you don't know, just kind of in the more particular Baptist or Reformed Baptist world, is just a really sharp guy. And I'm super thankful for him. I really appreciate his work and got to meet him in person for the first time. And that's just a couple of people I've never met before. And I got to hang out, like I said, with some awesome people and got to hear from them. Super, super thankful for that. And then there were watching the IMB sending ceremony where we see missionaries that are being sent out and going to do good work. And some of them were not able to even see their faces because of the places they're going are not particularly friendly to missionaries. That was powerful, and I'm so thankful for that and for their work. My brothers at the Pillar Network were there hanging out, and I'm thankful. The Pillar Network is connected to the SBC, and it is amazing. The Pillar Network is another reason why I'm here right now. Just through the Pillar Network, I met my friend and former pastor that I did residency with, Brian Sloan, in Mansfield, Texas, who is one of the godliest men I know who spoke into my life at some of the hardest times. These are all SBC connections. And I think that's what keeps me just encouraged, even though I felt a little discouraged. I'm encouraged because I know so many wonderful people who are pouring their hearts out for the gospel, who are doing the work of ministry, and we're doing it together, and I'm thankful for that. But that doesn't mean that I am all for all the things that happened. I felt a little discouraged about some of those things. But this was my first meeting, the annual meeting that I've ever been to. And I know that people have said that's kind of a norm. That just the way things go. It's a humongous convention of churches. So it makes sense. My biggest takeaway from it is I really think one of the most important things that needs to be pushed, honestly, is what did not pass, being the amendment to the Constitution. And I say that because it's consistent with our confession of faith in the Baptist Faith and Message. And you can't, how can you cooperate with churches that aren't also confessional and hold to the same things, basically? And so I know you don't have to agree on everything, but these doctrinal points are pretty important. So anyway, just some of my takeaways. I'm nobody, as far as any authority in these things or anything like that. I'm just sharing my experience with you, and just wanted to unpack it. You're going to hear, if you go on X or online, you're going to hear loads of people either absolutely hate the SBC or people who love it without question. But there are a lot of people like me too who love it, and we want to see change happen within it. So that's where I'm at, guys. I love the Southern Baptist Convention. I'm happy to be a part of it. But I certainly want to see more things move for the better. So yeah, that's thank you for coming to my TED Talk for the day. I'm going to look at some of your comments, and if you have any other questions, feel free to throw them out at me. I'm glad to see that some of you guys liked my AI-generated running fat man, even though it totally messed up the stream when I first tried it. And Kobe says, I like it. I wish I knew how to make these fancy intros like some of y'all do. Oh, man. Brother, I'm happy to connect with you and show you how I do some of it. I'm a simple guy, so I can definitely point you to some of that. It's not too hard. Let me see. Joy says she thinks it's hilarious. I'm glad you got a kick out of it, Joy. I thought it was funny. I like the little AI chubby me running. Thought it was pretty cool. Let's see. Twice Born. Hey, what's up, man? Joy, you're a Baptist, just not SBC. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. There's a lot of them out there. A lot of people who are just Baptists, but maybe not connected to the Southern Baptist Convention. Joy said, what does SBTC stand for? That's my state convention. So it's still in the Southern Baptist Convention. Hold on, I have to cough. Sorry. No editing allowed on live videos. So it stands for the Southern Baptist of Texas Convention, is what it stands for. So it's the state level underneath the big national entity. Let's see. Purvis, 1993, said, as a conservative Southern Baptist, I was disappointed with the convention. I am hopeful that the next convention will have better results. You pray that Robert Jeffries will run for president. Oh, yeah. I don't know if that'll happen or not, man. I don't know. Robert Jeffress is a pretty controversial figure, and I'll just leave it at that, because and there's no. I'm gonna turn on Do Not Disturb so my notifications don't come through here. No disrespect to you if you dig him, but he's not really my cup of tea. I'm conservative as well, but I don't know if he'll run or not. It's possible. Who knows? Let's see. Mag said, fellowship is a big deal. Good for you too. Yeah, no, it was great. It was a great experience for both of us to get to hang out and be a part of. Joy G says, I like Philip Nation. Man, I do too. That brother is wonderful. He really is. So down to earth, so kind. Doing great work at Thomas Nelson Bibles, producing some beautiful Bible editions. Just super impressed with him. You don't have to agree on everything. Yep, that's true. And it doesn't happen. That's for sure. It doesn't happen. Purvis 1993. Hopefully I can meet you in Orlando next year. Yeah, brother. I would love to. I would love to meet you for sure. That would be really cool. Were you at Texas this year? I'm not sure if I'll be able to get to Orlando or not. But I don't know. Kobe says, did you get Philip to agree to make a manly version of that Bible journal combo? Kobe, actually we did talk about that, and not only from you and from other people on my channel responding, but lots of people have told him that they think a more masculine edition of that would be very good. So I would not be surprised to see that coming down the pipeline, brother. So yeah, I would. The feedback he seemed to have received, I would definitely expect it. Let's see. Purvis says, I do not accept all Jeffress preaches, but he does believe the Bible and conservative principles. Yeah, totally. I think that's fair. I understand you, bro. I'm not trying to stomp on you for that at all. I get you. I think our current president, Clint Presley, in general, I think he did a good job, leading the meeting and things like that. I'm just going to say something, okay? I'm going to put this out there on the internet. Clint Presley, he gives me big Colonel Sanders vibes. Like, a Southern gentleman, and he's just so dapper and put together in everything that I'm not. But I definitely get the Colonel Sanders vibes from Clint. He did a good job, though. I appreciated what he did. I think he did well. Let's see. What else was I going to say? Oh, there's Dr. Mike. Hey, what's up, dude? Good to see you on. Glad you're joining the stream. I think I saw you on the last one that got messed up before it went bye-bye. So, yeah. Good to see you here, man. I also wanted to mention, and it's one of the things that I've seen others mention, and it's, with regard to abuse in the SBC. It's something that's being brought up over and over again, and I haven't been at the last big meetings where they've talked about that, but obviously, my heart behind it is in that we need to deal with that in every way that we possibly can. So I don't know, I've heard some things from others that they feel like that was neglected. And I'm not sure, I'm not up to date on all those issues, but we definitely need to deal with that if it has not been dealt with yet. All right. We don't have to talk about the SBC anymore if y'all don't want to. Let's talk about something fun. Let's talk about some other things. What's on y'all's mind? What's going on out there in the world with you people? I'm just going to wait for you to put stuff in the chat so I can respond to it, because I am tired of doing all the thinking and talking about stuff. I want to hear from you. What's going on? What you up to? Nothing? Nobody? All right. Hey, Joe. Joe Thorne has entered the chat. What's up, man? We can talk about heavy metal or spooky movies or beards. I am all about that life, brother. You know that. I could talk about that stuff all day, every day. The spooky movies is maybe more your thing. I could talk about some of that, but I'm I definitely could do the heavy metal or beards. How does one talk about beards? That's a good question, right? Like, we just talk about what, like length and color and, dare I use the word girth? I don't know. If you want to know something about my beard, look at this. I'm trying to show it to you, and I'm so confused how my camera works. See that? I got some crop circles going on in my beard. So, yeah. Purvis said he didn't attend this year, but plans to go to Orlando. Okay, cool. Yeah, like I said, I don't know if I'll be able to make it out to Orlando or not, but I would definitely would if I could. We'll just have to see and cross that bridge when we get there. Dr. Mike just finishing up work. Right on, man. Working hard. Going after it. Let's see. And YouTube. I love your handle there, YouTube. Asked for a good Bible reading app. See, Joe recommended the Dwell app. It is awesome, and it is. Especially if you're looking at something that reads to you, it's really good. I'm kind of boring when it comes to it. And I'm going to say this, just boring in the sense that the app I use the most for the Bible on my phone is just the ESV app. The ESV, just kind of Crossway Standard app. I really like it. It's got a lot of cool stuff built into it, especially they have like a subscription thing now, which I know everything's going to subscription. It's kind of annoying. But with it, it's pretty cheap for what you get. Like for a year, you get access to all these different study Bible notes and commentaries and stuff. I dig that one. And also, I like, there's one I found not too long ago called The Literal Word that's pretty good. But if you want something really cool that's going to read the Bible to you, I think Joe's on point with Dwell. Dwell is pretty great. See, Joe said, beard knowledge and talk equals. Bro, I'm not smart enough to pronounce whatever that word is. I'm going to have to Google that. Pogonotrophy? I don't know, Joe. I don't know, man. Let's see. Joy says, going up north in the country to see my in-laws and for the hubster's birthday. Love it. Love it. I love that you call him the hubster, too. That's cool. Dr. Mike said, just finished teaching a mental health class for fathers. Man, God bless you, bro. That's good. That's good work. Fathers in particularly as a target audience for that. Lord knows we need it, and we need to deal with it. Men are notorious for pushing their emotions and problems down. And, yeah, man, thank you for doing that. YouTube said, thanks, Pastor. You're most welcome. You're most welcome. I hope those recommendations help as far as the apps go. There's also a lot of people like Blue Letter Bible. I've used it before. It seems pretty cool, but I haven't really dove into. I'm sorry, I just saw Joe's comment. The Hubinator, the Incredible Hub. That's that's so good. My wife's pet name for me is okay. Put myself on blast here. But she calls me Peach, or Peachy is my pet name for some reason. And this was before the dawn of the emoji. The peach emoji, now means somebody's butt. So it didn't age well, but I still love it. It's still fun. Dr. Mike says, every Tuesday and Thursday evening at 6. Oh, that's great. That's great, brother. Appreciate your work and what you're doing. That's a topic for another time for sure, but I'd love to dive into that at some point, just as a discussion. All right. Anything else, guys, before I wrap it up? I got 5 more minutes before I got to get on out of here, and I don't have to stay on here if y'all don't want to chat, but happy to talk about anything else within a few minutes if you have anything of interest to speak to. I feel like I'm lagging way behind in this stream. I feel like, especially today, I am the furthest thing from professional. Like, just really messing this thing up. Anyway, I don't want to keep rambling. So, thank you guys for hanging out, for watching, for jumping in the chat, telling me what's up. Thank you for listening to my very young pastor kind of explanation of what I saw at the SBC and the good and the bad and all those sorts of things. Purvis, I just saw, asked, which Texas Baptist convention do you attend? This one right here, brother. The SBTC, the Southern Baptist Texas Convention. As I mentioned before, I have nothing but love for my state convention. I love those brothers that are in it, doing good work. So, yeah, and even though I'm kind of a black sheep of the family, they still love me anyway. So, super thankful for that. But, yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate you watching. I'm going to go ahead and call it for the night. Hopefully this was helpful to you in some way. Hopefully at least you just maybe had fun. And I'll talk at you later on.